Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of code. The fundamentals of code is better than Bitcoin. Inflation model is better than inflation. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. Decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things. Well, ahoy, crypto pirates. How is everybody doing? I played the Vegas sizzle reel. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. I think some things might have. I don't think anything's changed, actually. I think we're good. But Vegas is like all sold out, guys. So if you missed tickets to Vegas, I don't know if there might be one or two of the event things going. I know for sure that, the hotel thing is up. All the VIP tickets are sold. Last one went today. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff happening. We're going to have a great time in Vegas. We always do. Do a stream without, without the bandana. Thomas Anderson. Just one. I suppose, I guess. There was a time when I did them without the bandana. But anyway, just kind of my thing, I guess. I like not being recognized. It's funny. I was in a hotel in Northern California, something like that. And myself and Black Hexagon were sitting at a table in the lobby of the hotel. We were getting ready to have the event. I hadn't gone up and showered and changed yet, and I was getting ready to. And this group of people sat down, and they were all excited being there and blah, blah, blah. And they started kind of talking, and they were looking like they were asking questions. And they saw Kalen Black Hexagon sitting there, and they're like, hey, can you tell us about this or about that? And they were looking at me like, who's this guy? What's he doing here? They weren't asking me any questions. They were asking Black Hexagon. And so they never knew who I was, because I was just sitting there with no bandana and just, plain old me. But I think that's kind of cool, because eventually I don't want a whole bunch of people to know who I am. When I'm around Hexagons, I dig it. But anyway, excuse me. It says there are still tickets to the seminar on 3/8. So on 3/8, there are still some tickets left. So come on out. Still got tickets for the seminar on 3/8. And I promise you get to hang out with us, because there's a whole bunch of time in between all this stuff where we're all just hanging, having fun, doing good stuff, and whatnot. So not a lot that you have to worry about. A lot of stuff going on in the Twitters. A lot of Hexagons still poking each other in the eye. I hope I can get you guys to stop doing that and start to realize that there's value in everybody that's in this ecosystem. Look, if somebody's showing something, you don't have to buy it. If somebody makes something, you don't have to like it. And you don't have to be Captain Save a Pleb. You don't have to save everybody. It's one thing not to promote and not to, get involved in scams and get people hurt and that kind of stuff by promoting it and lying about it, which is what, most crypto space does, is lies about all these things that are out there. Oh, wait a second. We've got a technical difficulty. We don't have the banner on, the Chattin With The Captain banner. I paid so handsomely to have Bill. But I want, somebody's confused. I didn't have the Chattin With The Captain on. I just turned it on. Oh, producer didn't even like that tap me and say, the neon sign's not on. So yes, Utah's coming up. But anyway, back to what I was talking about real quick. Like, you don't have to try and save everybody. You, by your own merit and doing what you do, look, I don't promote all of these things that other people are doing because I'm not involved. I don't do them. I don't know them. The only things that I've trusted at this point is Richard Hart's Crypto Hex. That's it. PulseChain was a shot in the dark. It's proving itself well. Hasn't even been around a year yet, but it's doing a good job. PulseX, same thing. Great Havadex. Now they're even more decentralized than anything else out there. We've got 50,000 plus nodes, validators. I mean, it's looking good for those things. But, you know, but Richard allowed everybody to build and wanted everybody to build and told everybody to build. So we should encourage each other. Always be careful. Always be leery and weary of things. You know, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of things to still explore in the DeFi space, because now true DeFi is here. So guess what? We're all just learning. So let these people develop. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this, and I see Hexing's out there poking each other in the eye. It's a sign of weakness too, when all you want to do is go out there and fight and yell and scream at people. I yell and scream at my people. I yell and scream at the people I want to do better. It's just where I come from, what I've learned. I've learned that wasting my energy on people I don't like what they're doing, what good is that? What good does that do? I want to yell at you guys. I want you to be better. I want Hexkins to be better. I want to give you guys information. I want to make you guys think. I want you guys to be better. I want you guys to buck up against me. I want you guys to have discourse with me. That's what I want. I don't want to go fight people that are doing things that are wrong or that I think are wrong. You know, I think that's where people make a big mistake. It's weakness. It's a sign of weakness when all you can do is go poke fun at things and try and make yourself look good by making other people look bad or fighting them or whatever it is. Some of you won't get it. That's fine. Fucking deal with life and let it beat you up for a little while. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bang your head up against the wall. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Just keep doing it. And you'll see one day eventually that none of that stuff mattered, that you wasted your time and that you could have been helping other people get better or yourself get better or learn from those folks. I've seen a lot of people that were called scammers, a lot of people that were called assholes, dumpers, you name it. I mean, I've even seen people call my friend Hexo a dumper. I remember when that happened. Like the man's taking care of his family. Like he invested in crypto, took care of his family, and you guys gave him shit and doxed him. It was like, what in the entire fuck is that? Like that guy has spit out a spleen for this community from day one. Like he's the chosen child of this thing. Like Richard Hart praised nobody more than Hexo, and you fools went after him. Stupid. So stupid. Oh, but anyway, hopefully you guys, one day we'll hear a big, and that'll be your heads popping out of your ass and understanding what's going on around here, really. Waiting for that pop, waiting for the big pop, and hear some of your heads pop out of your ass. All right, everybody. Well, we have a gentleman here that has created an incubator, a launch pad, and it's called The Forge. And we're going to get to know it a little better. We're going to get to hear. He came on F and Hangout last week and started talking to us. And now we're going to get to know him, get to see what he's made of. And then you guys can start, you know, taking a look at what he's doing and seeing if it matters, it doesn't matter, or if it helps or hurts the ecosystem. And guess what? You don't have to call him names or say stupid shit to him. You let him do his thing and watch him and watch what he does. And hopefully it brings more users. It helps us get adoption. It adds another tool to the ecosystem that we're all looking for and hoping for, because DeFi's got to grow. Richard can't build it all. He can't make it all. We need all of us, everybody else doing things. Richard can't get on stream every day and do what we do. Richard can't do this and that. Give people a chance to do this stuff. So here we go. I'm going to give this guy a chance. His name is Marc, and he is with The Forge, and we're going to get to know him. What's happening, Marc? How you doing, bud? Oh, hold on one second. We got you muted. My fault. There you go. Now you can chat. What's happening, buddy? Let me see if I can
Hi. Yeah, feeling great. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Well, it's good to have you. You came on Friday, kind of introduce yourself to the community through our channel here. Tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, how you ended up here in the Hexagon community, doing what you're doing with the Forge.
Sure, yeah. I'm Swiss, 40 years old, have a couple of kids and a wife, live in Thailand. I came to the community maybe a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I met Mandingo, and then through him, a bunch of other people in the community. But the story, I say, would start about 10 years earlier. I started an animation coding company with my partner, where we basically made animations for businesses and things like that. But a few years later, we got quite popular on YouTube and on Facebook. We got about 8 million followers, subscribers on different channels.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was, good job.
Thank you. It was over many different countries, and it was very meaningful content. It was about mental health initially. But then people started sending us their own personal stories of what happened to them. We animated them. The channel is called Minute Videos, and we have another channel called Sprout Schools, which is just about general education. And we ended up having about 40,000 stories sent to us from people all over the world, from all kind of, people telling us their most important stories, what happened in their lives, things like that. A lot of it very anonymously, and we animated them and put them back onto YouTube and Facebook and all different social media. And that became very, very popular. Maybe it started growing in 2016, and towards 2019, 2020, it became very big with millions of daily views, and there's a huge following, was very big. But because we had a lot of difficult topics that we dealt with, like domestic abuse and bullying and even human trafficking and things like that, we eventually got censored very heavily by YouTube and by Facebook and all these platforms. It's not really obvious how they do it. They just kind of strangle your views, and your, the algorithm just kind of kills you.
Yeah, we've been strangled forever here.
yeah, I know, it's insane. So yeah, if you have certain keywords in there, just you couldn't do it anymore. And on the other hand, these platforms, they force you to create content you don't want to do, because you have to make everything more extreme with the titles and the content and stuff like that. So that was happening 2020, something like that. And I've been a personal huge fan of crypto and decentralization in general since maybe 2013. We've done a few educational videos as well on how blockchain works. So back then, my company got hired by several bigger blockchain projects. So we created these kind of 3D animations to explain how the technology works. And I worked with a lot of really smart people who build, core infrastructure technology, cross-chain technology and stuff like that. So I learned a lot in these couple of years about crypto. And then basically my team and I, since we have a big kind of developer capability, my partner and his team, we were kind of embedded in this crypto industry, saw lots of different communities, and then really saw this problem of basically there being so many scams and nobody has any idea which crypto projects are good and which are bad. There's thousands of them out there. I mean, I was working with this company that had a super amazing, they're basically a cross-chain layer 2. The only time I've ever seen a cross-chain layer 2 like that. Their development head was the former Google Meets head engineer. They had 150 staff, tens of millions in funding, and yet nobody knew of them. They're like number 900 on the rankings and stuff like that. And I was like, how is that possible, right? That you have these huge, amazing kind of new technologies brewing back there, and then at the top of the list, the top 100, top 200, 300. Has projects that are basically a joke. There's someone throwing it up, and not all of them, of course, but there are many projects like there in the top, few hundred. So I then worked with my partner And we said, crypto should really have kind of a ratings platform. And we've had like these prototypes that we've built before for kind of an alternative YouTube mechanism where people would work together to find what are the good videos and rate them and review them. And we're like, why don't we do the same for crypto? Everybody's doing that crypto research every day on thousands of projects. Why don't we all share that information somewhere? So we developed a prototype. The platform is called Curator. It's Cyrator really, but we call it Curator. And we built for about 9 months before we soft launched it about a year ago. And we just presented it to some guys, and they liked it. They came in and became analysts. And then we grew for about a year now. In 2023, we got to 60 plus verified analysts, and we shared a lot of projects and found a lot of great projects because we shared information, worked together, and we also helped each other avoid a lot of shitty projects.
Were these analyzers developers or code readers that did like kind of quasi audit, or were they just looking at the fundamentals of the code, or were they actually looking at the code in depth?
You have various different people. I mean, you have some people that are just complete crypto enthusiasts. They're around on the launch pad seeing tons of projects. Then you have tokenomics experts, and then you have people who actually look into the code. I mean, it's really a cross section of the entire crypto market, I would say.
Okay. And this is a decentralized organization of just people volunteering their time and efforts to it, or is this a group of hired professionals?
No, anyone can sign up.
Okay.
Basically, you need to. So it's decentralized, it's open, but you do need to basically be approved by the community. And once you're in, you can earn tokens for your reviews. We have something called super upvotes. So we had to go through various upgrades for the kind of curation mechanism because people come in and shill projects, and people come in and they kind of abuse the system by sharing upvotes with each other and stuff like that. So we had to improve that system several times. And we did that for a year now. We have 4,000 plus reviews, reviewed over 900 projects. And that's when I met Mendingo towards Q3, Q4 last year. And he basically introduced me to the PulseChain community and basically said, well, we need something like this in the PulseChain community. We need to review the projects that are here, share information. And then through him, I met many people. And, I've gotten a very, I think, different insight into the PulseChain community than what you usually see when you just look from outside, So I met lots of really cool builders, basically, who are very tech savvy, know a lot, are building a lot, are very kind of have a strong kind of decentralization ethos, I guess, So I met a lot of cool people. And then over these last few months, we kind of expanded the model, saying, well, we don't just need this review mechanism. There's so many new projects come in, and there's so much good in the PulseChain community. They've raised so much money for projects. They've built so many strong communities very early on. And then I have worked with Curator. We've worked with hundreds of projects, like startups and pre-sale projects and stuff. And I know that those are the things that all these projects are looking for, right? But now if a project comes to PulseChain, they kind of, they don't have an entry door. They don't know where to come in, right?
Yeah. They definitely don't want to go start launching on Twitter and saying that they're a new project coming. That would be like the death nail for them to try and do something like that with the maxis that we have. Exactly. I really like what's happening here, and I want to address the community about this. So community, we have more safeguards and more policing on the PulseChain right now than any other blockchain I've ever seen. I mean, we've got the Pulse Police out there in Telegram and out there on Twitter. We've got two foundations, one that was put together by some hexagons. Another one that was put together by some hexagons. We've got Marlon Williams, and we've got Identity Block creating foundations. We even have Lit has been putting together his own incubation tank on YouTube, and he's been doing that and reaching out to folks. And now the Forge is coming with, experience of hundreds of projects already being looked at, and delivering those to people with, scrutiny and decentralized looks at what they are and how they work. So I really like what's going on around here. This is, I think that people can say that we might be the safest blockchain that's ever, launched this quickly.
I agree. I think that can definitely happen. And I said that on a couple of streams before, like this. I don't know if you know the emergence theory. That kind of complex things arise out of simpler kind of inputs. That at first there was only stones on the earth, and then there water, and then life, and then complex technologies and stuff like that. And I think the PulseChain kind of came. The idea originally was to just run hex more efficiently, right? And now suddenly this free playground stuff is happening on it that nobody really controls, and it's just kind of one thing happens on top of the other. And I think originally there was a big problem of a lot of rock pulls and scams and stuff like that, but that attracts solution to it, and you have a lot of really smart people who really care about decentralization and this ethos. So I think it's like a hotbed of cool, innovative things that you couldn't imagine that can come out of it. So pretty excited to be part of that.
Yeah, very, very. Somebody is asking for your Twitter. It is the
I'll post the link.
Because you don't have a personal one. It's for the organization, correct?
Yes, that's true. So I'm actually not a very before this campaign here. I'm more of a private person. So I'm only learning how to come on streams and to do different social media and stuff. So I don't have a personal Twitter yet.
Yeah, I'll put it right here. Hold on one second. I'll paste that in there. I'm sure SJ could have probably done that or had done that, but there it is. There's his Twitter, or the Twitter where you can find the organization, the curator app.
Personally, people can come to Telegram to talk to me.
Right on. So what's the ultimate goal here? I mean, PulseChain is so young, so new. There's like this, it's like a new frontier, right, in crypto, where we've got all this space to start developing these crazy cool things that I'm already seeing start to develop. What is the goal of the Forge? What do you guys want to see, want to do? What's the 5-year outlook for the Forge look like?
Yeah, I think we call ourselves a kind of a next gen launch pad, but I don't like that term, because launch pads are very limited and only a very small part of what our network does that is raising funds. So I think we're much more of a decentralized Kickstarter, like in the true kind of sense of the word where we kickstart projects, and where projects can come from any stage. Also in a very, very early stage, they can come in and they can basically collaborate. Our goal is to get hundreds. Already we have 60 plus analysts, right? But once we fully launch, we expect to have hundreds, if not thousands of analysts on there. Everyone can come in and share their ideas and stuff. So to have the only platform in crypto where, or even in the whole startup scene, where projects can come in, get feedback from these hundreds of people, evolve with that, become stronger and better, can hire through this community, and then eventually it's all one process where projects come, they improve, get vetted, get higher ratings, improve their business model, hire people, and then once they get through all of this, they get high ratings and then get funded very easily, because the whole thing has been vetted very, very much.
So what happens? What happens when you find a project that, and probably the projects that are rug pulls or are scams aren't going to come to you guys anyway? What happens when a project what happens have you guys ever found like a scam? Have you ever found something that's like, oh no, this thing is horrible, this is bad, this is going to be bad for everyone? What do you do in that case, and have you ever seen that?
Tons. The thing is, in crypto, there is a lot of scams. It doesn't matter which ecosystem you are. There is a lot. That's half of the story is all the scams. Then the other half is projects that are genuine but are going to fail because 90% of startups fail, right? And especially in crypto, it's so easy to kind of think of something and come and think you can do stuff, but actually doing stuff is extremely hard, right? The implementation of stuff and building stuff.
So you've seen lots of scams. You've seen projects that were going to fail. Now, when you see a scam, do you guys go after it, meme it? What do you guys do? What's the solution when you find an outright scam?
Well, we don't really do anything. We just review stuff. And I don't want to call out individual projects now, but there has been, scams where someone will come in because they really like the project. That's why they bring it in and review it to begin with, But then the other analysts come in and say, hey, this is all they're just saying this. There's nothing to actually back anything up,
So you don't go after these people. You don't ostracize the person that brought the scam to you. You just kind of ghost it and let it go away and not give it any time.
It's our reviews are there. Anyone can come in and see them. This is all public information. We're starting to get a lot of traffic from Google search. We're ranking kind of on top for searches like Cardano tokenomics, Tau tokenomics, stuff like that. So people start to use our platform as part of their research. So they come in and then they can see, oh, well, this guy really liked it for that reason. And then these other guys didn't like it for these and these reasons. So we just give people the tools to make up their own mind.
They'll make up their own minds. I love that. It's almost rational to think that that's how projects should be vetted and people should be treated when they bring these things to the powers that be, to the people who are looking at them, to the people that can give you the answers. I'm being facetious here because I see a different type of ranking and rating system that goes on in the social media out here when somebody brings a project to the table and says, hey, I think this is going to be great, and there's tokenomics and this and that. And then I see everybody get lambasted for doing that versus allowing a system or a decentralized group of people rank it, rate it, give it their honest opinions, and put red flags on it and say, here, no, this is absolutely a red flag. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. Sorry, folks, but this is what we found here. I really like the way that
I can show you a couple of projects, just as example of this kind of showing.
Sure. Let's bring it up. I'll share the screen and I'll pull it up here.
Okay, one sec.
Oh, you got it? There you go.
Yeah. Can you see? Okay, so a project that was quite popular in the bear market was this Venom. I don't know if you heard about it. It's like a kind of Polkadot style multi-chain thing. So this project it still has quite a high rating, and it was very highly rated. But then this thing about the founder came up, and we actually had a lawyer. So here you see, this guy says it's a 5-star project. This is someone saying, the technology is 5-star and the marketing is 5-star. But the interesting thing here is that this same analyst did a team review 1-star, right? And saying, well, there is one of the kind of co-founder has multiple fraud lawsuits in multiple countries running against him. And, even though, maybe the other team members are fine, this is going to be a big problem if he owns a big share of the company and stuff like that. So, and then we have this thing here called super upvotes. You can see I have 6 remaining. Basically, you need to stake our tokens to get these super votes. And then people can say, oh, I support this message. And the important thing about this is if you're on Twitter you see a post that has 100,000 likes. That doesn't help you actually trust the information in that post. But here, every person who super upvotes this can get, if this post turns out to be, you know, a shill post or factually incorrect, people can report it, and then the writer and everyone who super upvoted can get slashed and even expelled if it's a really bad abuse.
Oh.
Right? So you can trust this. Basically, the more super upvotes there are, the more you can trust it, because the more people lose money, you know, if this ends up to be harmful in some kind of way. So yeah, it's just, it gives you a broad picture of what people generally think. If you really want to, you know, invest or buy these tokens or whatever, you can dive deeply into what everyone has to say. And this guy here,
What's the safeguard for, say, a project coming in and saying, well, let's take 5 of these accounts and let's, you know, post a whole bunch of like you said,
reviews.
good post reviews. Yeah. What's the safeguard? I know you said something about, you know, staking the token and slashing them for doing so. You know, is there a safeguard against, like, let's just say you get a group of, you know, 5 people to help support their project here on the on the site? What is there to weed that out? What's the decentralization that weeds that out, or safeguards?
Yeah. So first of all, this is our voting thing here. So all the analysts, they actually have to be voted in. Here's an example of someone who's, you know, got a couple of no votes, more yes votes. So analysts will, to even be able to write reviews, you have to apply, you have to write some reviews, and then you have to be approved by the other guys. And then once you're in, there's a how do you call it, kind of a safety period where you where you basically a newbie, you don't have many super upvotes yet.
You're on probation until
you're on probation, exactly. You cannot yet vote in other analysts, so no one. It takes a month before you can vote in other analysts, and you need to earn super upvotes from other experienced analysts before you can be upgraded to be a full analyst. And then you need to stake tokens in order to get these super upvotes. Because again, if you go back to this project here, if you just write reviews and they don't get super upvoted, your reviews are just going to be somewhere down here, you know, where no one sees them. And we have an algorithm that weighs the rating based on the super upvotes. So
it's not just a staking mechanism slash a lobby type powers. It's actual merit powers in operation, and a vetting process and a probationary period, so that somebody just can't throw a project in there and put a bunch of people in and try and get it, you know, hyped up right away. So you've got some safeguard. That's what I think. That's what's important for the community to understand and for people to know, is that you guys have put some thought into this, and that you guys have actually vetted and put probationary periods and a staking feature to create some type of a DAO type of situation where people are you know, passing a vetting process with time and value, and the value of their actual writings and posts and reviews and whatnot.
Exactly.
I like it.
Maybe, thank you. I would like to jump in. So this is Curator, basically. This is the general review platform where anyone can come in and review anything. But the Forge is, this is kind of the private beta that we did on Curator, but this is going to become the Forge. And this is where we review new projects that might want to come on PulseChain and raise funds and stuff like that. And that there's some differences here. We use a lot of the same kind of underlying technology, but there's some differences. So the way the process works here is, you can see this micro review section on the left and this in-depth review section on the right. So when projects come in, new ones, like these ones here, they need to first get 5 micro reviews. This is kind of the initial screening process. So first, like 2 analysts will review them. If they both have 1 star, then the project kind of gets kicked out and they can try again. Eventually, they need to get over 3.5 stars through 5 reviews, and then they can pop into this in-depth review section, where then the analysts review the tokenomics, the team, all of these kind of things. And this will probably take like a few months. The project can improve over time and eventually get funding at the very end of this. You can see down here we have in the last half year in this private beta like reviewed really over 100 projects. So we've tuned this mechanism quite a lot.
Very nice.
Thank you. And the
so
vetting
projects. Oh, go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So the vetting process here is even for the Forge is even a lot harder to get around. So this is a project that we've reviewed half a year ago. One of the first ones that went through this. It's a startup. They were raising funds, and we've done like 20, 30 reviews for them. And what happens now is in the Forge, we've added these NFTs that I can show a little bit later. But when
now some of these, a question real quick. So some of these are projects that have not been launched yet and have been launched, or they all have to have been launched, or all have to have not been launched. What's is there a criteria, or can it be any?
Well, I would say 99% of these projects will not have launched yet. They're looking for funds. They usually want to sell tokens or some kind of NFTs and stuff like that. So to be in the Forge, they want to launch. They want, for example, they often haven't even chosen a chain yet, right? So if they want to come to PulseChain, they can go through the Forge. Then they can be vetted by the community through this mechanism. If they get good ratings, then they'll get funding to do that, and then they can launch.
So do you guys help marry them with chains that would fit them best, or is that even in your mix? Do you guys make suggestions, or?
That might be some idea for the future, but for now we really just kind of focus on PulseChain first. And we want to, as I said,
so you are suggesting PulseChain to these projects to launch on?
Yes. So this is in the Forge. All the analysts in here will be PulseChain community members, and projects
PulseChain centric.
Oh. Yes. This has developed together with PulseChain community members like Mandingo and Jay from Hex Pulse Info and Proof of No Work and a few different people.
I know some of these guys.
So yeah, we developed this together, and we're not really as I said before, it's really hard to implement something. There's so much to do. So for now, we're just focusing on this, making this happen really successfully on PulseChain. And then if there's other stuff beyond that, we'll think about that later. But we think we have the possibility to build something unprecedented here, because all the other ecosystems, they have their launch pads and grant system and stuff like that are mostly all centralized.
Foundations and everything. Yeah. And I think that so PulseChain is not even a year old. It's very young, and it's already got 2 foundations and now the Forge. One question here, Greek Mythology is asking, how much traffic does the website get at this point? Do you have that information yet?
Yeah, we have about from Google search, we get maybe 150 or so a day. In total between 100 to 200.
Respectable.
But it's pretty nice here. I can show you. This is our trend, because this is our search traffic. So we started, soft launch back here, and then we didn't really think about getting Google traffic until kind of mid-year, and then we saw that we got these spikes when people started searching stuff on our platform, and then we optimized the platform for search, and since then it's just been growing 50 to 70% a month. So it's just going up quite strong. This is our actual unique kind of visitor numbers. So yeah, we're getting a lot of traffic just from general people researching projects.
One of our OG Hexicans just dropped in and says, hey, interesting. Does this result in a ranking list from some type of all the tokens or chains that are reviewed? From Swearworks.
Yeah, we do have something. I have to say we are actually not a big fan of that anymore. Let me see if we... No, so this isn't kind of an all projects ranking. But we've realized that actually these ratings are highly subjective, and that a much better indicator of if a project does well or not is actually progress reviews. So Here's an example of Solana. Let me show you here. So we have this. Blue Serif is one of our, community favorites. Her reviews are super good. She did this progress review on Solana 6 months ago, and this was exactly at the perfect dip. And after that, Solana went on a 5x whatever run. And back then, she just said, yeah, Solana is in the Solana winter, but I think there's a lot of great stuff happening because they achieved all of these things, and then it started pumping off that. She did the same for Injective, which you can check here as well. That was 5 months ago. Same thing. She did a progress review about everything that's happening on there. So and you guys know it with PulseChain, it's very divided what people, say about this technology. That when you review review the fundamentals, it can be very, very subjective, and people have this kind of fixed subjective mindsets. But when it comes to performance, it's actually a lot more exciting. It's a lot more objective. You've mentioned it a little bit in your intro, everything that PulseChain has achieved. And if people would just be talking about that, I think it would open a lot more eyes. So we are shifting our focus on the platform. There will be, still a lot of general reviews, but we're kind of educating our analysts to keep writing progress reviews. Say, hey, I've listened to all these AMAs. I follow the project. This is all the good stuff that is happening, or this is all the bad stuff that's happening. You asked about scams, and we did have projects where initially some of our analysts really liked it, and then they came back 2-3 months later and said, you know what, they are not delivering on anything. They're not being communicative anymore. I think stay away from that. So progress is really a much better indicator, I think.
I think that also having multiple angles and different metrics to look at, and and the personal touch of the reviewers coming in and expressing themselves and what they see from different angles is a much better way to look at these projects than just be suspect of them all right off the bat.
Exactly.
And the fact that we have so many people working on projects like this, I haven't seen it in this depth yet. I know that the PulseChain Foundation, they're actually helping incubate projects themselves. So they're bringing projects in, helping incubate them, helping them with their marketing and their presentation to the community before they launch. So there's, you guys all have different facets of how you're helping to vet projects. And I think this is a much more productive way to do it, with giving people the tools to do analysis and the people that they can actually start trusting, with your analysts that are actually, being vetted and continuously staying in front of the community and talking about these projects, building the trust, building the clout. This is what we need. And we're young. So this is all stuff that's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take trust. It's going to take, things being built on top of it to, improve, like you said, the metrics. There are better metrics for vetting and ranking these things than, just like you said, the system that you have now. So really, really digging this, man.
Would like to a couple more things just to finish explaining how the Forge actually works. So here you see the top review that's been super upvoted so much, and you can actually see that this guy has edited his review several times. So every review you can see the version history, and this is kind of how the incubation mentorship part happens. So this project was in this process for like 3 months. They had several AMAs with all the analysts. That you can see here, the discussions are very vivid. This is the project founder. He came and talked a lot. And this is how the incubation part happens. But the important part I want to mention here, and this is also where the NFTs come in that we're selling right now and stuff like that. So if a project wanted to bribe this process, right, which is ultimately what is going to happen if you can raise a lot of money at the end of this process, we have kind of 4 entities actually that kind of interplay and separate power. To avoid that. So the project would have to first bribe multiple analysts to write good reviews about them, right? Otherwise, their review will just be somewhere down here. And then they basically have to bribe these super upvoters, which is a different group of people that have different incentives. They are the investors on the kind of launchpad side. So this does work like a kind of traditional launchpad where people have to buy our tokens, lock them up, and the more they lock up, the bigger the allocations they get when they invest or sacrifice or whatever they do, or even donate to the project.
Very nice.
And so now the project will also have to bribe those investors to give it super upvotes, right? Which will be hard to do because the investors, they have different, incentives. But that's where now these NFTs that we're doing comes in. Even if that would happen, the NFTs have the power to come in and vote to slash and expel the analysts and the investors who were involved in this. And there's 5,000 plus, there's 5,555 NFTs. So you would have to bribe a lot of those, which you don't even know who they are because the NFT holders are anonymous, right? So of course, it's technically still possible, but you would have to bribe a lot of these guys. And now, even if you do that, comes the next point. This whole Forge thing is a network of entities. It's not just us. So this is the decentralized review part, but we're also developing smart contracts where the projects will raise funds not into their wallets, but into a fundraising smart contract. And that's developed by HexPulse Info. And the smart contract will then release the funds over time based on the projects achieving the milestones. And again, the NFT holders can come in and block those funds and return them to people if the project doesn't deliver. So even if the project managed to bribe so many people, they still won't be able to get the funds because they can get blocked.
I love it. Blockchain and smart contracts being put to use. Finally.
Exactly. Yeah.
It only took us, 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah. We just announced a partnership with Maddie with his Time Pays Me contract. So so that's just one example of how we're collaborating with multiple, like what's already there. So his contract is amazing in this because now the founders can lock up their team allocations in his contract and get it basically vested over time, so they cannot dump their tokens or rock when the liquidity goes on the DEX. We're also talking to other guys now with some DEXs that we would connect the smart contract directly to the DEX. So the portion that's dedicated from the fundraise for the liquidity would actually be sent directly to the DEX and never goes into the founder's custody. So we're basically building a network of organizations that all work with each other to provide a more efficient, more effective, more supportive fundraising ecosystem for the projects and the communities. And the last thing I want to say is the way these NFTs get rewarded is when projects come in, not just the NFTs, also the analysts and the investors. When the projects come in, they can offer a portion of their tokens, 1% or 10%, whatever they want to encourage engagement on the platform. And these tokens will be distributed over the analysts, over the investors, and over these NFT holders as a reward for keeping the ecosystem safe.
Very nice. Very nice. I love it. Well, I'm going to have to also hook you up with my crew because we're going to want to talk to you about some things too. We've got stuff in the works. We're doing things too in the background, and definitely want to talk to you more about that. I want to do another show with you. We have to close now, but I would like to do another show with you if that's possible. Can we book you again real soon so we can talk some more?
Sure.
See how things are going. See what's happening. Great.
We are going to release the project application, I think, today. So if you like, perfect. We can have a stream as soon as possible. We can show how that is and invite your audience, invite everyone to sign up.
Let's do it. I'll get SJ to get you booked up again, and we'll once you launch the platform, we'll bring it up and we'll do some live stuff. One more question here: are there any announcements for projects that make it or become successful to bring in more investors to these new projects launching on the PulseChain?
I haven't thought about it like that, but obviously there is going to be a lot of analysts, a lot of community members that just come follow the projects that have the highest
because you're
rate.
not actually bringing VC to the projects. You're just giving analytic view of it and let people make all their own decisions. You're not trying to marry projects with VCs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it basically improves the sacrifice model, you know, where you don't just throw money at a black hole anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But there is a supporting kind of infrastructure around, but it allows the community to decide what it gets funded and not VCs.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to do a quick shout out to somebody here, but I thank you, Marc, for coming. I appreciate you. We'll get you rebooked, and I'm really excited to see how this all turns out. And it's
thanks so much. It's fantastic.
I'm glad you guys are doing the hard work and making sure that you're crossing T's and dotting I's, because that's what this community wants to see, is people doing their due diligence, and it looks like you're doing yours. And well, obviously there's more to see, but you guys have a track record already, and you guys are doing it. So thanks for coming, and thanks for doing what you do, man.
Maybe I want to invite anyone who wants to come and collaborate, you know, come in. As I said, we have some collaborations already. So please come in to our Telegram, you know, hit us up, and we'd love to chat.
Yep. And all the links are below in the description, and everybody can go check out Marc and the Forge over there. All right, my man. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll see you. All right, everybody. Thanks. Hey, real quick. We sold like one of our we have like two big, well, there's our super, I don't even know the name. Producer, are you there? Anyway, our NFTs that were for this PulseChain tour, somebody purchased one, and I just want to do a shout out to our guy. And I don't want to dox him, but Spiffy-tastic. Thank you so much for supporting the PulseChain tour and getting the super duper NFT. I know that the team is working real hard to put together your package and all of that, and it's personalized and all that. Anybody gets the big one, I guess RG gets to send me and some people out, and we're gonna have a party at your place. I don't know if you really, is that like worth somebody spending a lot of money on something, us coming there to party?
I mean,
I don't know. Let's do it. Come on, somebody buy the other NFT. All right, everybody.
They're gonna want to do it.
By the way, and he is also what's called our super supporter, and we appreciate you, man. And he and I've met in person, and really, really good to have you on board helping us out. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll see you in Vegas.
Anything else? Go Vegas. We'll see you in Vegas. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you all. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Don't fret, guys. There's systems in place to take care of all this stuff without you having to go out and be Captain Save Pleb. Why is Hex better than Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's the fundamentals of code. The fundamentals of code is better than Bitcoin's. Inflation model is better than inflation. The staking feature is better than a mining feature. It's new tech versus old tech. Decentralized versus centralized. Yes, all of those things